Nia Jones was tired. Her back hurt as she pushed her heavy cleaning cart down the shiny hallway of the Royal Star Hotel. It was a big, fancy hotel where rich people stayed. Nia had worked there for 3 months. She needed the money to pay for her language classes at the city college. Nia was from Kenya, but her grandma had worked for a Belgian family for many years. Because of this, Nia could speak English, Swahili, French, and Flemish. Flemish was a language spoken in parts of Belgium. Nia never thought this skill would change her whole life. The hotel had many rich guests, business owners, government people, and famous folks from all over the world. Nia's boss always told the cleaning staff, "Good maids are never seen or heard." So Nia did her job quietly. She cleaned the rooms, put new soaps in the bathrooms, and made the beds neat and tight. She tried hard to be invisible. On Tuesday morning, Nia was cleaning room 512 when the phone rang loudly. Normally, maids didn't answer guest phones, but the man staying in this room, Mr. Backer, had told her to answer his calls. He was waiting for an important message. Nia picked up the phone after a small pause. "Royal Star Hotel, room 512, she said in a professional voice. The person on the phone started speaking very fast in Flemish. They were talking about changing a meeting time. Without even thinking about it, Nia answered back in perfect Flemish. She wrote down the new meeting, details on the hotel notepad. Nia was so busy getting the information right that she didn't hear the door open behind her. James Wilson stood in the doorway, watching with his mouth open in surprise. He was one of the richest business owners in Europe. His company made computer programs that sold all over the world. James had come to talk to Mr. Backer about putting money into a new business. Instead, he found himself listening to a black woman in a maid's uniform speaking perfect Flemish, a language that even many people born in Belgium found hard to speak well. When Nia put down the phone and turned around, she jumped in shock. "I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Backer asked me to take his calls. There's a message about his meeting at the city library. It's now at 4 o'clock instead of 2 o'clock. James nodded, still looking at her with great interest. "Your Flemish is very good. Where did you learn to speak it so well?" Nia looked at the floor, feeling shy. "My grandma worked for a Belgian family for 30 years. I grew up hearing it at home." "You speak it better than most people born there," James said, putting down his bag. "Do you know other languages too?" Nia nodded slowly. "Yes, sir. English, Swahili, French, and a little German." James looked at her with new eyes. "I want to talk to you after you finish work here. Can you meet me in the hotel coffee shop when your shift ends?" Nia's heart beat fast. Was she in trouble? Had she broken a rule by answering the phone? Or worse, was this rich man trying to take advantage of her? She had heard stories from other maids about such things. "I'm sorry, sir, but I don't think it's about a job," James said quickly, seeing she was worried. "Bring a friend with you if that makes you feel safer. I own a big tech company, and we really need someone who speaks languages like you do." Nia wasn't sure what to do, but she finally agreed to meet him after her work ended at 3 o'clock. For the rest of the day, she couldn't stop thinking about this strange meeting. Was it really a good job offer or something bad? In the end, she decided to go, but she asked her friend Lucy to sit at a table nearby just to be safe. When Nia got to the coffee shop, still wearing her regular clothes but with her hotel name tag in her pocket, James was already waiting. He stood up politely when she came to the table. "Thank you for coming, Ms. Jones." "Nia Jones," she said, trying to sound brave. "Ms. Jones, I'll be direct. I run WorldLink Tech. We're growing our business in Africa, especially in Kenya and nearby countries. We need someone who can not only translate languages, but also understand different cultures. Someone like you." Nia listened carefully as James explained that his company made computer programs that helped businesses talk to each other across countries. They were making new tools for companies in Europe and Africa. They needed people who could help make sure their products worked well, in different languages and cultures. "Why me? Can't you hire professional translators?" Nia asked. James smiled. "Professional translators who speak Flemish, English, Swahili, and French really well, who understand both European and East African cultures. People like that are very hard to find, Ms. Jones." They talked for almost an hour. James explained the job. She could work part-time while still going to her language classes. The money he offered was more than Nia made in 6 months at the hotel. "This seems too good to be true," Nia said finally. "Just because you heard me answer a phone call?" James leaned back in his chair. "Ms. Jones, in business, success often comes from seeing a good chance when it appears. I need someone with exactly your skills, and I found you by luck. Sometimes, that's how life works." Nia left the meeting with James's business card and a promise that a job offer would be sent to her email. She felt like she was dreaming. She told Lucy everything as they walked home together in the rain. "Are you going to take the job?" Lucy asked, sharing her umbrella with Nia. "I don't know," Nia said honestly. "It seems like something from a movie, not real life." But it was real. After checking up on WorldLink Tech, talking with their hiring people, and asking advice from her teacher, Nia took the job. 2 weeks later, she quit the hotel. 3 years passed quickly. Nia finished her language degree while working for James's company. Her knowledge helped WorldLink make better products that worked well for people in Europe and Africa. The company grew bigger in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda because of her help. On the day Nia graduated from college, she found a small package waiting at her apartment. Inside was a hotel room key card and a note from James. Where it all began. Room 512 is saved for you tonight to celebrate with your family. Congratulations. That evening, Nia showed her grandmother and younger brothers the beautiful hotel room, a room she once cleaned herself. Her grandmother, now in her 70s, looked around with tears in her eyes. "When I worked for those Belgian people those years ago, I made you practice Flemish every day even when you complained," her grandmother said, holding Nia's hands. "I always told you learning is never wasted." Nia hugged her grandmother tight. "You were right, Nana. You were right." Later that night, at the special dinner James had arranged for Nia and her family, he raised his glass for a toast. "To Nia, who shows us all that amazing talent can be found in unexpected places, if only we look and see what's right in front of us." Nia smiled, thinking about how one simple moment, answering a phone in a language she'd grown up speaking, had opened doors she never knew existed. Life could change in strange ways. Sometimes the biggest chances come when you least expect them, hiding in normal moments that turn out to be very special. Nia's story spread through the company. New workers heard about the hotel maid, who became one of the most important people in the business. James often used her story when talking to business groups. "Success isn't just about finding the right people," he would say. "It's about seeing the value in people others might ignore." For Nia, the best part wasn't the money or even the respect she now had. It was seeing her grandmother's proud face when she bought her a small house back in Kenya. It was helping her brothers go to good schools. And it was knowing that her language skills, something she had taken for granted, had changed everything. 5 years after that day in the hotel room, Nia became the head of WorldLink's African operations. Her office overlooked the same street where she once walked to her hotel job. Sometimes she would look out the window and remember pushing that heavy cleaning cart. Life had taken a surprising turn. "Sometimes you find opportunity," she told a group of students when she spoke at her old college. "And sometimes opportunity finds you. Be ready either way." The hotel where it all began put up a small sign in their staff area. It said, "Your skills matter. Your knowledge has value. Your future might change in a single moment." Next to it was a picture of Nia Jones, the maid who answered a phone call in Flemish and changed her life forever. Nia Jones sat at her big desk in the WorldLink office. 10 years had passed since that day when she answered a phone call in Flemish at the Royal Star Hotel. Now she was not just an employee but a partner in the company. James Wilson had kept his word and more. Nia now ran the entire African branch of WorldLink Tech, with offices in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa. Today was a special day. Nia was back in the city where it all began. She looked out of her office window at the Royal Star Hotel across the street. Sometimes she still couldn't believe how her life had changed. She remembered how tired her back used to get from pushing that heavy cleaning cart. Now people called her Ms. Jones and stood up when she walked into a room. Nia's phone rang. It was Kione, her assistant. "Ms. Jones, the school children are here for the tour, and your grandmother just arrived too." "Thank you, Kione. Please, bring them to the big meeting room. I'll be there in 5 minutes," Nia said. Today was the start of WorldLink's Future Stars program. They were bringing children from poor areas to see the company and learn about jobs in technology. Nia had started this program herself. She wanted children to know they could have good jobs even if they came from poor families. Nia checked her appearance in the small mirror on her wall. Her hair was in neat braids and she wore a bright blue dress with African patterns. She wanted the children to see someone who looked like them in a position of power. She picked up the small hotel key card she kept framed on her desk, the key to room 512 where everything changed, and touched it for good luck. When Nia walked into the meeting room, 20 children aged 10-12 years looked at her with big eyes. They wore their school uniforms and sat very straight in their chairs. Behind them stood Nia's grandmother, now in her 80s but still standing tall. She had come to help with the children who spoke tribal languages. "Good morning, children," Nia said with a warm smile. "Welcome to WorldLink Tech. Who knows what we do here?" A small girl in the front raised her hand. "You make computer programs that help people talk to each other all over the world." "That's right," Nia said. "And do you know what's special about our company?" A boy in the back spoke up. "You hire people who speak many languages." Nia nodded. "Yes, we do. Languages are like bridges between people. The more bridges you can build, the more friends you can make, and the more business you can do." One boy raised his hand. "My teacher said you used to be a hotel maid. Is that true?" Some of the other children looked shocked. They couldn't imagine this important-looking woman cleaning hotel rooms. Nia smiled. "Yes, that's true. I worked as a maid at that hotel right across the street. I cleaned toilets, made beds, and changed sheets. It was a good job that helped me pay for school. There is no shame in any honest work." The children looked at the fancy office and then back at Nia with new respect. "I want to tell you how I went from being a hotel maid to running this company," Nia said. "It's a story about how speaking languages changed my life." Nia told them the story of that day 10 years ago, when she answered the phone in Flemish and caught James Wilson's attention. The children listened with wide eyes. "So you see," Nia finished, "you never know when the things you learn will become useful. That's why you should learn as much as you can." After the tour of the offices, Nia took the children to the hotel across the street. The hotel manager, Mr. Okafor, was waiting for them. "Welcome to the Royal Star Hotel," he said to the children. "Today you will see how a hotel works, and you'll see the famous room 512 where Ms. Jones's life changed." The children followed Mr. Okafor through the hotel. He showed them the kitchens, the laundry room, and the cleaning carts. Then they went up to the 5th floor. "This is room 512, Mr. Okafor said, opening the door with a special key. Inside, the room looked like any other fancy hotel room, but on the wall was a small gold plaque. It said, "In this room in 2015, Nia Jones answered a phone call that changed her life and helped build a bridge between Europe and Africa." The children read it and looked at Nia with awe. "The hotel put that there last year," Nia explained, "to remind people that big things can start in small moments." One girl raised her hand. "Ms. Jones, do you still clean your own house or do you have a maid now?" Everyone laughed, but Nia answered seriously. "I clean some things myself. Other things, yes, I have help with. But I never forget what it's like to be the person doing the cleaning. That's important." After the hotel tour, they all went back to the WorldLink offices for lunch. As the children ate, James Wilson walked in. He had flown in from London just for this event. He was older now, with gray in his hair, but his eyes were still sharp and kind. "Mr. Wilson," Nia said, surprised. "You didn't tell me you were coming." James smiled. "And miss the first day of your Future Stars program?" "Never." He turned to the children. "Has Ms. Jones told you the whole story?" The children nodded, but James shook his head. "I don't think so. She probably didn't tell you that she turned my job offer down at first." The children gasped, and Nia laughed. "That's true. I was scared it was too good to be true. But then what happened? A small boy asked. James continued. She called me 2 days later and said she would take the job if, and only if, I would also start a program to teach languages to hotel workers. She said there were many smart people working in hotels who just needed a chance. That's when I knew she was special. Nia's grandmother, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. My granddaughter was always stubborn, even as a little girl. Everyone laughed and Nia hugged her grandmother. Nana taught me to value myself, she told the children. Never let anyone make you feel small because of your job or where you come from. After lunch, the children received backpacks with books, school supplies, and a small computer tablet from WorldLink. Before they left, Nia gave each child a special key card, like a hotel room key, but with the WorldLink logo. Keep this, she told them. It's to remind you that doors will open for you, in life. Sometimes others will open them for you, like Mr. Wilson did for me, but sometimes you have to be brave and open them yourself. As the children waved goodbye, James stood next to Nia. You've done amazing things here, Nia. Nia smiled. We did amazing things. It started with a phone call, but it grew because we worked together. That evening, Nia took her grandmother to dinner at the Royal Star Hotel's fancy restaurant. 10 years ago, she had only seen this restaurant while cleaning it. Now they sat at the best table as honored guests. Are you happy, child? Her grandmother asked. Nia thought about the question. Yes, Nana. But not just because of the job or the money. I'm happy because I can help others now. Like those children today. Her grandmother nodded with pride. That is the best kind of happiness. Outside the window, they could see the lights of the city coming on as the sun set. Somewhere out there were children who had visited WorldLink today. Children who now knew that speaking languages, working hard, and being ready for opportunity could change their lives too. Just as it had changed Nia's when she answered a phone call in Flemish 10 years ago. Nia Jones stood in front of the mirror in her hotel room. Today was a very big day. It was 15 years since she had answered that phone call in Flemish that changed her life. Now, at age 38, Nia was going to speak at the Global Business Summit. Business leaders from all over the world would be there, and Nia was the main speaker. Her phone rang. It was James Wilson. Are you ready for your big speech? He asked. I think so, Nia said. But I'm a little nervous. You'll do great, James said. Just tell your story like you always do. People love real stories. After they hung up, Nia looked at the speech papers in her hand. The words were good, but something didn't feel right. She put the papers down and walked to the window. Outside, she could see the city of Nairobi, Kenya, where she had been born. The summit was being held here because of Nia. She had told the organizers that it was time for Africa to host this important meeting. There was a knock at the door. It was Nia's assistant, Keone. The car is here, Miss Jones. Thank you, Keone, Nia said. Then she did something surprising. She tore up her speech papers and threw them in the trash. I won't be using these. Keone looked worried. But Ms. Jones, you worked so hard on that speech. Nia smiled. I know. But today I'm going to speak from my heart, not from paper. When they arrived at the conference center, hundreds of people were already there. Big business owners, government, leaders, and young entrepreneurs filled the large room. Nia saw James Wilson sitting in the front row. Next to him was an empty seat saved for her grandmother, who would arrive soon. The host of the summit, Mr. Okonkwo, came to greet Nia. Ms. Jones, we are so honored to have you as our main speaker. Your story of going from hotel maid to running WorldLink Africa has inspired many people. Thank you, Nia said. But today I want to talk about more than just my story. When it was time for Nia to speak, the room became very quiet. Everyone watched as she walked to the stage. Nia wore a beautiful dress made by a local Kenyan designer. Around her neck was a special necklace her grandmother had given her, a small golden key on a chain, to remind her of the hotel key that had started everything. Good morning, Nia began. Many of you know my story, how I was a hotel maid who answered a phone call in Flemish, how that moment led to a job offer from James Wilson and changed my life. People nodded. This was the story they had heard before. But today I want to tell you a different story, Nia continued. Not about one woman's luck, but about what happens when we truly see each other. The room was silent as Nia moved away from the podium and walked to the edge of the stage. Look around this room, she said. What do you see? Business leaders, powerful people, but what don't you see? She paused. You don't see the hotel maids who cleaned your rooms this morning. You don't see the drivers who brought you here. You don't see the people who cooked your food or the ones who will clean this room after we leave. Some people looked uncomfortable. This was not the nice, easy speech they had expected. 15 years ago, James Wilson saw me, really saw me, when I was just a maid. He heard me speak Flemish and realized I had value beyond my job title. That changed my life. But what about all the others who were never seen? Nia pointed to a young woman standing at the back of the room. Amina, please come up here. A young woman in a simple dress walked nervously to the stage. People turned to watch her. This is Amina, Nia said. 3 years ago she was working as a cleaner in our WorldLink office in Lagos, Nigeria. One day I heard her singing while she cleaned. Her voice was amazing. I asked about her and learned she had studied music but couldn't find work as a singer. Amina smiled shyly at the crowd. Today, Amina runs our new audio translation program. Her understanding of tone and music helps us make better voice translation software. She has a team of 15 people, and our profits have grown by 20% because of her work. The crowd clapped and Amina went back to her seat. And there's David, Nia continued, pointing to a young man. He was a security guard at our building in Ghana, but he had amazing skills with computers. Now he leads our cybersecurity team. Nia looked around the room. The point is not that these people were lucky. The point is that talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. As business leaders, we must learn to really see people, all people, not just the ones with fancy titles or degrees. Just then, Nia saw her grandmother enter the room with the help of a nurse. At 86 years old, Nana needed help walking now, but her mind was still sharp. Nia smiled at her before continuing. WorldLink now has a program called Hidden Talents. Every employee can recommend someone they think has special skills that aren't being used. Last year we found 57 amazing people this way. Our business is stronger because of them. Nia walked back to the podium. When I was a little girl in Kenya, my grandmother made me learn Flemish. I didn't want to. It seemed useless, but she kept telling me, knowledge is never wasted. She was right. Nia looked at her grandmother, who was wiping tears from her eyes. I stand here today because one man saw value in me when others didn't. But I also stand here because of every person who helped me along the way. The teacher who stayed after school to help me practice languages. The hotel manager who gave me flexible hours so I could study. The roommate who sat nearby when I went to that first meeting with James to make sure I was safe. Nia's voice grew stronger. Success is never just one person's story. It's always about community, about seeing each other, about lifting each other up. The room was completely silent. Even the photographers had stopped taking pictures. So today I'm proud to announce that WorldLink is starting the See Me Foundation. We are putting $50 million into programs that find and develop talent in unexpected places, not just in Africa, but around the world. The crowd burst into applause. James Wilson stood up, clapping hard. Others followed. But money isn't enough, Nia said when the clapping stopped. We need to change how we see people. The maid who cleans your hotel room might speak 4 languages. The driver who takes you to work might be a math genius. The security guard might be a computer wizard. Will you see them? Or will you look right through them? Nia's grandmother was now crying openly. James Wilson had tears in his eyes too. 15 years ago, I answered a phone call in Flemish. But the real miracle wasn't that I spoke Flemish. The miracle was that someone was paying attention. Someone saw me. Nia touched the key necklace around her neck. So my challenge to all of you today is simple. Who will you see? Whose life might you change just by paying attention? Who is waiting for you to notice their talent, their potential, their worth? When Nia finished speaking, the room exploded with applause. People stood up cheering and clapping. Some were wiping away tears. Nia walked down from the stage and went straight to her grandmother. She knelt down and hugged the old woman tight. "You did good, child," her grandmother whispered. "You did good." Later that day, as news of Nia's speech spread around the world, a young hotel maid in Mumbai, India was cleaning a room. She didn't know about Nia Jones yet. She didn't know that tomorrow, a guest would hear her talking about math problems with another maid. And that guest would turn out to be the head of a tech company looking for people who understood numbers. The maid didn't know her life was about to change. But somewhere, the universe was preparing another miracle. Another moment when someone would truly be seen for the first time. 20 years had passed since that day when Nia Jones answered a phone call in Flemish at the Royal Star Hotel. She was now 43 years old and one of the most respected business leaders in the world. The See Me Foundation she had started 5 years ago had already helped thousands of people discover and use their hidden talents. But today was a sad day for Nia. She sat beside the hospital bed, holding her grandmother's thin hand. Nana was 91 years old now, and the doctors said she didn't have much time left. "Don't look so sad, child," Nana said weakly. "I've had a good life. I got to see my granddaughter change the world." Tears ran down Nia's face. "I couldn't have done any of it without you, Nana. You taught me Flemish, you made me practice even when I complained." Nana smiled. "I knew languages would open doors for you, but you walked through those doors yourself." A nurse came in to check on Nana. When she left, Nana squeezed Nia's hand. "I have one last wish," she said. "Anything, Nana," Nia promised. "I want to see room 512 one more time, where your life changed." Nia was surprised. "But Nana, you're too sick to travel." "Nonsense," Nana said with a spark of her old fire. "I'm dying, not dead yet. The doctors say I have a few days. I want to spend one of them in that room." Nia wasn't sure it was a good idea, but she couldn't refuse her grandmother's last wish. She called the best doctors and arranged for a medical transport. The next day, they carefully moved Nana to a private plane. James Wilson had offered his company jet when he heard about Nana's wish. When they arrived in the city where it all began, an ambulance was waiting. Nia had called ahead to the Royal Star Hotel. The manager, who knew Nia's story well, had immediately agreed to prepare room 512 for them. "We've kept the plaque on the wall," the manager told Nia over the phone. "And we'll make sure everything is perfect for your grandmother." When they arrived at the hotel, staff members lined up to greet them. Many had tears in their eyes as they watched the medical team carefully wheel Nana through the lobby. They took a special service elevator to the 5th floor. When they reached room 512, the manager was waiting with the door open. Inside, the room looked beautiful. Fresh flowers filled every corner, and the bed had been specially prepared with extra pillows. The medical team helped move Nana to the bed, making sure all her monitors and equipment were working. Once Nana was settled, she looked around the room with a smile. "So this is where it happened," she said. "The room where everything changed." Nia sat beside her on the bed. "Yes, Nana, this is it." Nana pointed to the small gold plaque on the wall. "Read it to me, child. My eyes aren't what they used to be." Nia read the plaque. "In this room, Nia Jones answered a phone call that changed her life and helped build a bridge between Europe and Africa." "That's nice," Nana said, "but it's not complete." "What do you mean?" Nia asked. "It doesn't mention all the people who helped build that bridge. Like your mother, who worked so hard before she died. Like your teachers. Like me." Nana's voice was getting weaker. "You're right, Nana," Nia said, holding back tears. "No success story is just about one person." "Promise me something," Nana said. "Anything. Promise you'll keep telling the whole story. Not just about you answering a phone call, but about all the people who made it possible." "I promise," Nia said. Nana seemed satisfied. She closed her eyes and rested. Later that evening, as the sun was setting, Nana asked to sit by the window. The medical team carefully moved her to a comfortable chair. From there she could see the city lights coming on. "It's beautiful," she said. "When I worked for that Belgian family, I never stayed in fancy hotels, I only cleaned them." Nia held her hand. "Things have changed so much." "Yes," Nana agreed. "But some things never change. People still don't see each other. They look, but they don't see." Just then, there was a knock at the door. Nia opened it to find a young hotel maid standing there looking nervous. "I'm sorry to bother you, Ms. Jones," the maid said. "My name is Fatima. I just wanted to say what an honor it is to meet you. Your story inspired me to go back to school." Nia smiled. "Thank you, Fatima. What are you studying?" "Computer science," Fatima said proudly. "I work here during the day and take classes at night." "That's wonderful," Nia said. Then she had an idea. "Would you like to meet my grandmother? She's the real hero of my story." Fatima's eyes widened. "Really? I would be honored." Nia brought Fatima into the room and introduced her to Nana, who was now very tired but smiled at the young woman. "So, you're studying computers?" Nana asked. "Yes, ma'am," Fatima said. "I want to build programs that help people learn languages." Nana's eyes lit up. "Languages are the key, child. They open doors." Fatima nodded. "That's what I believe too." After Fatima left, Nana looked at Nia with a peaceful smile. "You see?" The story continues. New people, same dreams. That night, with the city lights twinkling outside the window of room 512, Nana passed away quietly in her sleep. Nia was holding her hand until the end. The funeral was held in Kenya, where Nana had been born. Hundreds of people came, including James Wilson, who was now in his 70s. After the service, James found Nia sitting alone under a tree. "She was an amazing woman," James said, sitting beside her. "Without her, none of this would have happened." Nia nodded. "She made me promise to tell the whole story. Not just about me, but about everyone who made it possible." James was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I have an idea. What if we rename the foundation?" 1 month later, Nia stood on a stage in New York City. Behind her was a new sign. "The Kai Nana Foundation, seeing hidden talent everywhere. Today we honor my grandmother," Nia told the crowd. "A woman who cleaned houses for rich people but made sure her granddaughter learned their languages. A woman who believed that knowledge is never wasted. A woman who knew that talent is everywhere, if only we have eyes to see it." In the front row sat Fatima, the hotel maid from room 512. After meeting Nana, Fatima had contacted the foundation about her ideas for language learning software. Nia had immediately offered her an internship. "The Nana Foundation will continue our mission," Nia said. "But we're adding something new. Today, we're launching the Nana Scholarship, which will help hotel workers around the world go back to school and develop their talents." The crowd applauded loudly. Fatima had tears in her eyes. "My grandmother's last days were spent in room 512, where my journey began," Nia continued. "In that same room, she met a young hotel maid named Fatima, who dreams of building language learning software. And now Fatima is our first Nana scholar." Fatima stood up and everyone clapped for her. "This is how we honor those who came before us," Nia said. "By creating opportunities for those who come after us. By seeing people, really seeing them, the way my grandmother saw me, and the way James Wilson saw me 20 years ago in that hotel room." As Nia finished her speech, she touched the small golden key she still wore around her neck. It had been Nana's last gift to her. "To remind you," Nana had said, "that the key to success is not what you know, but who helps you learn it." The legacy of a hotel maid who answered a phone call in Flemish would continue, not just through Nia's work, but through the thousands of lives touched by the Nana Foundation. And it all began in room 512, where someone truly saw another person for the first time. 25 years had passed since Nia Jones answered that life-changing phone call in Flemish. Nia was now 48 years old. Her hair had a few gray streaks, which she wore proudly. She had accomplished so much in her life, running World Links, African Division, starting the Nana Foundation, and helping thousands of people discover their hidden talents. But today, Nia faced one of the hardest moments of her career. James Wilson, now 80 years old, was stepping down as the head of World Link, and he had asked Nia to take his place as the CEO of the entire company. Nia sat in her office in Nairobi, looking at the official letter from the company board. They had unanimously voted for her to become the new CEO. It was a huge honor, but it would mean moving to London, where the main office was located. It would mean leaving Africa, her home. Nia picked up the phone and called Fatima. In the 5 years since they met in room 512, Fatima had finished her computer science degree and now ran the technology division of the Nana Foundation. Her language learning software was being used in schools across Africa. "I don't know what to do, Fatima," Nia admitted. "This is the biggest opportunity of my career, but I don't want to leave Kenya." "What would Nana say?" Fatima asked gently. Nia smiled, thinking of her grandmother who had passed away 5 years ago. She would probably say, "Child, doors open for a reason. Don't be afraid to walk through them." She was a wise woman, Fatima said. "But can I make a suggestion?" "Of course. Why does the main office have to stay in London? You're going to be the CEO. You can decide where the headquarters should be." Nia sat up straighter. "You're right. I could move the main office to Nairobi. Or," Fatima continued, "you could create a new kind of company, one with 2 main offices, one in Europe and one in Africa, a true bridge between the continents." The idea excited Nia. She thanked Fatima and immediately called James to discuss it. To her surprise, he loved the idea. "That's brilliant, Nia," James said. "I've been thinking for years that we should be more global in our approach. Having headquarters in both London and Nairobi would send a powerful message." 2 months later, Nia stood on a stage in London. Behind her was a screen showing a live video feed from Nairobi, where hundreds of WorldLink employees were watching. Today was the official announcement of Nia becoming the new CEO and the company's new 2-continent structure. James Wilson sat in the front row, looking proud. Age had slowed him down, but his mind was still sharp. Next to him sat his wife and their children and grandchildren. On his other side was Fatima, who had flown in from Kenya for this special day. 25 years ago, Nia began, I was cleaning hotel rooms to pay for my language classes. Today I stand before you as the new CEO of WorldLink. My story is often told as a fairy tale, the maid who answered a phone call and impressed a millionaire. But real life is not a fairy tale. Real success comes from hard work, education, and people who believe in you. The crowd in London applauded, and on the screen, the employees in Nairobi cheered. When I was a little girl, Nia continued, my grandmother taught me to speak Flemish. I complained, I didn't see the point, but she insisted. Knowledge is never wasted, she said. She was right. Nia looked directly at James. And when James Wilson heard me speaking Flemish in that hotel room, he didn't just see a maid with an unusual skill. He saw a person with potential. That's the greatest gift we can give each other, seeing the potential in someone that others miss. James nodded, his eyes shining with tears. As I take on this new role, Nia said, I want to announce some changes to WorldLink. First, we will now have dual headquarters, one here in London and one in Nairobi. This reflects our commitment to true global partnership. The screens behind her showed images of both cities. Second, we are expanding the Hidden Talents program. Every WorldLink office around the world will now actively look for talent in unexpected places. Our goal is to find the next Nia Jones, or better yet, thousands of them. The crowd applauded again. And finally, Nia said, her voice growing softer, we are creating the James Wilson Mentorship Program. Because talent needs more than just discovery. It needs guidance, support, and someone who believes in you. James looked surprised. He hadn't known about this last announcement. His wife squeezed his hand as tears ran down his face. After the ceremony, there was a big reception, Important business people, government officials, and celebrities all wanted to talk to Nia, but she made sure to spend time with the hotel staff who were working at the event. She asked about their lives, their dreams, and their talents. One young server, a man named Omar, mentioned that he spoke 5 languages. 5 languages? Nia asked. That's impressive. Which ones? Arabic, English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese, Omar said shyly. I grew up moving around because of my father's work. Nia handed him her business card. Call my office tomorrow. I want to talk to you about opportunities at WorldLink. Later, Nia found James sitting alone on a balcony, looking out at the London skyline. Are you hiding from your own party? She asked, sitting next to him. James smiled. Just taking a quiet moment. I'm proud of you, Nia. I wouldn't be here without you, she said. James shook his head. No. You would have found your way somehow. Your grandmother made sure of that when she taught you Flemish. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. I've been thinking, James said finally, about that day in the hotel. What if I had been looking at my phone instead of listening to you? What if I had been too busy to notice? But you did notice, Nia said. Yes, James nodded. And that's the lesson I've tried to live by ever since. To really see people, to pay attention. The next day, Nia flew back to Nairobi. As her plane landed, she looked out the window at her homeland. She thought about how far she had come from that young hotel maid to the CEO of a global company. Her phone buzzed with a message. It was from Omar, the server from the reception. He had already contacted her office and had an interview scheduled for the following week. Nia smiled. The cycle was continuing. New talents being discovered. New doors opening. At her office in Nairobi, Nia was surprised to find a small package waiting on her desk. It was from James. Inside was an old hotel phone, the same model as the one she had answered in room 512 25 years ago. Attached was a note in James's shaky handwriting, to remind you of where it all began, and to remind you to always answer when opportunity calls. James. Nia placed the phone on her desk where she would see it every day. Then she sat down and began her first day as CEO. A week later, Nia returned to the Royal Star Hotel. Room 512 had been permanently preserved as a small museum, telling the story of Nia Jones and the power of seeing talent in unexpected places. School groups often visited to learn about Nia's journey. As Nia stood in the room looking at the displays, a group of young students came in with their teacher. They stared at Nia with wide eyes when they realized who she was. Ms. Jones, is it really you? The teacher asked in surprise. Nia smiled. Yes, I try to visit this room whenever I can. It keeps me grounded. One little girl raised her hand. Ms. Jones, do you think something special like this could happen to one of us too? Nia knelt down to the girl's level. What's your name? McKenna, the girl said. McKenna, something special is already inside you. The question is, what is your special talent? And who will be lucky enough to see it? The little girl thought about this, her face serious. Remember, Nia said to all the children, the most important part of my story isn't that I answered a phone call in Flemish. It's that someone was paying attention. So my advice to you is this. Develop your talents even when others don't see the point, and always pay attention to the talents in others. As Nia left the hotel that day, she looked back at the building where her journey had begun 25 years ago. One phone call, one moment of being truly seen, and a lifetime of passing that gift on to others. The story of the hotel maid, who answered a call in Flemish, would be told for generations. But the real story, the one Nia hoped people would understand, was much bigger than her. It was about seeing each other. Really seeing each other. And that was a story with no end.